Hello everyone, welcome back to Newsroom. I'm Chella Smith. This is your Middle East U.S. entertainment news here on YouTube. I air on Fridays. I bring you the latest on reforms and economics in Iraq based on reports put out by the Middle East news media outlets. I do this weekly review and it's based off my interest. Make sure you're subscribed and turn those notification bells on. Last week we talked about the budget regarding the petrodollar, the banking controlled reporting system, the Kurds Erbil oil agreement, and the public and private banking sector. Let's take a look at this week's headlines. Readins reports the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for the Middle East Affairs, Barbara Leaf, confirms on Thursday that there are good efforts between Erbil and Baghdad to reach a common understanding. The United States of America is encouraging Baghdad and Erbil to move forward in improving their relations. Barbara Leaf says at a press conference, "I have been here for 13 years. Relations between the Kurdistan region and Iraq have often gone through a number of difficulties, and sometimes I have reached the conflict, but in my current visit, I'm optimistic. So I discussed with both parties and the talks were positive." She expressed happiness with the improvement of the relations between Baghdad and Erbil, stressing that we encourage them to understand in order to proceed to build a stronger and more stable Kurdistan region. On the internal situation in Kurdistan, she stressed the need to hold Kurdish parliamentary elections during this year and renew the U.S. support for holding elections before the end of this year, saying, "We want the Sinjar agreement to be fully implemented." There's a lot going on with the policy, and Readins reports the Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani confirms on Thursday that the evaluation of ministers, officials, managers, and agents is still ongoing, while revealing the details of the oil agreement. Al-Sudani said during the dialogue at the Iraq Forum for Stability and Prosperity held in Baghdad that there are reviews, dialogues, and discussions on all issues in the country, and the government faced a number of services and economic challenges, that the ministerial curriculum has been translated into a various government programs. Over the past 6 months, we have achieved achievements on several levels, and gaining the trust of the people is achieved by the credibility of the government's work. Al-Sudani continued, "We have dealt clearly with everyone since we were assigned to form the government, and the government is committed to implementing the paragraphs of the ministerial programs, but no success can be achieved without working with a strong, keen, and loyal team working day and night." He pointed out that some of what is being circulated regarding the evaluation of ministers is inaccurate, and the evaluation of ministers, officials, managers, and agents is still in place, noting that the corruption is a serious challenge facing the state and threatens the government's efforts to invest budgets. And there is a follow-up to any corruption files in all state institutions. Recovery money and wanted people is a key factor in the fight against corruption, and the government will not hesitate to hold the corrupt accountable. The application of electronic platforms has ended suspicious trade, and the dollar exchange rate will be fixed at the official price, and our financial situation in Iraq is the best compared to the previous years, pointing out that during the next 3 years, gas imports will end, and we are preparing to launch the 6th licensing rounds in the desert of Abner and Najaf. With regards to oil agreement with the Kurdistan regional government, Al-Sudani explains, "We have reached an understanding with the region on the oil and gas file and included in the budget law, and we agreed to resume the region's oil on April 4th through SOMO, but the Turkish side informed us that the oil pipeline that experts need to be examined before resuming exporting," stressing that the Prime Minister of the center and the region have reached a unified vision stage, and the salaries of the employees of the Kurdistan region are the duties of the federal government, and we are committed to paying them. He continued by saying, "We found with neighboring Iran only support for the unity of Iraq with its components, and Iraq has moved to play a role to bring the views closer between Iran and the countries of the region, and the vital role of the country's contribution to bringing the views between Iran and Saudi Arabia closer, and the return of relations between Iran and Saudi Arabia support stability in this region." Economics Alpha News reported Rafidian Bank announced the granting of electronic payment devices to all state institutions and the private sector free of charge. A statement by the bank said that it was decided in cooperation with General Companies for Smart Cards to grant POS devices to all state institutions and the private sector free of charge, providing technical and logical support, supporting software, and trained all technical cadres in the return for zero commissions until the end of 2023 and on the responsibility of Rafidian Bank. He explained that the decision came in line with the government's program and the directives of the Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani during the cabinet session with the ministries, and all departments should accelerate the implementation of points of sales in the POS system and in support of the decisions of the Central Bank of Iraq to move to electronic cash starting from June 1, 2023. The governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, Ali Al-Awlaq, confirmed on Wednesday that the exchange rate on the parallel markets, or the black markets, is an unreal rate for the speculators of owners of illegal operations. In response to a press question about the reasons for the price difference between the central bank and the markets, Al-Awlaq said that the central bank reached sales covering the orders of traders, citizens, investors, and others, and its sales are about $2 million a day. So the second price found in the parallel markets, or the black market, is an unreal price, which is the price for speculators or price for illegal operation owners who are willing to pay the high price. Now there is the only correct price, which is $13.20, because the central bank covers the need for request for the dollar, and the other price is a price that has become an anonymous price related to speculation or related to illegal operations, he stressed. On the central bank measures against rising the dollar in the markets, Al-Awlaq indicated that the markets correct itself by covering the need of citizens, traders, and others, so that it does not resort to using another price or other places to buy the dollar. Baghdad Mawzi News reports the Assistant Secretary of State for Near Eastern Affairs, Barbara Leaf, confirms on Tuesday that the Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani is seeking to restore Iraq's relations with the regional periphery. There is a clear dynamic in the work of government and an ongoing quest to find a good economic situation, and Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, who has begun the economic reforms, is an effort that needs years, and we support it, Lev says during the discussion table, saying, "I met with the Prime Minister yesterday and we discussed bilateral relations and ways to develop them. And the properties he mentioned are the same priorities that we believe are important in Iraq as it seeks to strengthening relations between Iraq and its regional environment. And this is a good thing," she continued. On the exchange rate files, she stressed that the United States has no hand in determining the dollar exchange rate, and there's always a dialogue between the U.S. Treasury and the Iraqi Ministry of Finance and the central bank by providing advice in line with international standards, and we currently seek there is stability in the exchange rate. Iraq needs to bypass its economy by oil and expand its horizons to other resources. And you've been watching Newsroom Weekly Review. I'm Chella Smith, your Middle East U.S. entertainment news on reforms and economics Iraq. I bring you the latest in our news without having to keep up with all the different outlets. I'm here on YouTube every Friday, so don't forget to subscribe and turn those notification bells on. If you like my content, you can give me a thumbs up. If you really like my content, you can always leave a super chat or super thanks. Again, thank you for being a subscriber, and thank you for visiting Newsroom Chella Smith for your trusted Dinar News. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.